Hello, good afternoon, students. How's everybody today? Hope everybody had a great weekend. I had a great weekend. I didn't really do nothing, and the weather was actually nice. It didn't rain that much, and my house didn't really get flooded. Anyways, welcome everybody to Social Studies. Today is Monday, the 19th, October 2020. And today's lesson, we're going to continue from what we learned last week about communication. But last week we learned about the communication in the past, correct? So this right here, does anybody remember? Okay, very good. This is a telegraph. Okay, this is a machine that we used to send telegrams with. Okay, back then we didn't have text messages on our phone. Okay, and this is a letter. Actually, the letter is inside. This is a picture of an envelope, so this is an example of what a letter inside an envelope looked like, okay? And we also had our public phone, or also known as a payphone, where you have to put money inside the phone to use it, okay? And this is our house phone. It's a landline. It's connected to a wire. If there's no wire connected, this phone cannot be used, okay? So these are some communications on what we use, how we did in the past, okay? So for today's lesson, we're just going to focus on communication, okay? What is communication? Okay, communication is sending or receiving information between between two or more people, okay? So in other words, it's meaning when we communicate, we're actually talking, listening, and we're giving information. We're sharing ideas with other people, or people are sharing ideas with us, okay? So in this part, we're going to learn ways to communicate. So how do we communicate? Okay, this is what it means. So number one, we listening. So when we're listening, we're communicating, because when people are talking, or if we're watching TV, or if we're listening to the radio, we're listening, so we are receiving information, so we could learn something what people are sharing with us. Okay, so that's one way to communicate. Okay, another way to communicate is by speaking. As we speak and people listen to us, we're relating, we're sending our thoughts, our ideas to that person so they could understand what we're saying. Okay? So speaking is another way of communication. And number three, looking. Okay, when you look at things, you could also communicate. Say like if you take a picture of something and you send to one of your friends, you don't have to say a word or anything. They could look at the picture and they know what you are talking about. Okay, so that's another part. Another another way of communication is sign language. Okay, sign language is for people that can't talk. Okay, they use their hands and they spell out the alphabets. Or sometimes they have words meaning. So I don't know if you've seen it, but sometimes if you watch the news, if somebody is giving out a speech and they have something important to say and they want everybody to understand, normally they have somebody standing right here next to them and they're doing like sign language like this with their hands. So to the people that cannot hear, they could understand what they're saying by sign language, okay? And number five, reading. Reading is also another way how we communicate. So we could receive information by the stuff we read, like our magazines or ads we see on TV. When we're reading, we're actually getting information from people sharing ideas and thoughts from them, okay? And number six, another way of communication is writing. So when we write, we are actually communicating with that person we're writing to. So they're reading the letters, and what we write to them is what we have, our questions that we have for them. and stuff like that, okay? So that's writing. These are ways of communication, okay? So basically, they're almost like the five senses, like vision, hearing, speaking, feel, but this is for communication. Okay, now moving along to means of communication. Okay, means of communication, it's like tools, like things that we use to communicate with. Okay, for example, number one, we got mobile phone. Okay, we use a mobile phone to talk to people, or when people call us, people talk to us, so that's a means of communication, mobile phone. Okay, number two is almost the same as mobile phone, but this is telephone. Telephone is like the picture that I showed you. It's in the house. You can't take it outside with you. It's in the house. It's only for indoor use, okay? Okay. And another one is computers. We also use computers to communicate with many people. Say when you're on the internet, you're on Facebook with Messenger and all that. So with the computer, you're not actually communicating with one person. You're actually communicating with however many people you allow to see your messages or your posts, okay? And newspapers. I haven't seen a newspaper lately. I don't know if they still exist, but newspapers, it tells us about the news around the world, what's going on around the world. It's like actually the news, but we're actually reading it from a paper, and it's like a stack like that. That's a newspaper, okay? So number five, radio. That's another means of communication. So when we listen to the radio, we normally hear music, but in between the music, you would hear commercials, like people trying to sell stuff and things like that. So they're giving us information about their product that they're selling, or another way of radio with I call it a walkie-talkie. When you press a button and you talk, and whoever has the other set of the walkie-talkie, you guys could talk back and forth. So radio, we would be using speaking and hearing, and that's another means of communication. And number six, television. Okay, some of us, we watch television maybe 2 or 3 hours a day, and if you watch good stuff on television, like how I used to watch Discovery Channel. You know, I learned a lot from the Discovery Channel. And that's another means of communication, by looking. You watch and you hear, okay? And number seven, letter. Okay, we communicate by using letters. We write to our friends, our families. But the thing is, with letters, you have to wait a few days for them to respond back. So that's another means of communication. So again, communication is sending or receiving information between two or more people, okay? And these are the ways that we use to communicate, and these are the means, the tools or the things that we use to communicate. Okay, everybody, now moving along to your task. Okay, I want you to write the ways of communication we use for each words below. So I'm going to send you this on the group chat, okay? So you got number one, mobile phone. Number two, telephone. Number three, computer. Number four, newspaper. Number five, television. Number six, letters. So I gave you an example. So for radio, we use speaking and hearing, because for radio we can't write with it, we can't read with it, we can't use sign language. So the only thing we could use for the ways to communicate with radio is speaking and hearing, okay? If you have any questions, if you need to know more, you could always text me on my personal Telegram, okay? So I'll let you go ahead and do your task one, and please submit it to me to my personal Telegram when you're done. All right, I'll see you in clip 2. Hello class, welcome back to clip 2. Thank you everybody for submitting me your task 1. So in clip 1 we learned about communications, the ways we use to communicate, and the means of communicate. So this is what we use to understand or receive information, and this is the tools or devices that we use to communicate with. Okay, so for this clip, since we are talking about communication in the past, we are going to learn how to write a letter. And right now, I'm going to show you the steps of sending a letter, okay? So when we do sending a letter, or when we send a letter, the things we need to send the letters are papers, pens or pencils, an envelope, and a stamp, okay? Now, the step one, when you're sending a letter, first of all, you have to write a letter. So you could write to anybody you want, your friends or family. But like I said in clip one, writing a letter, you don't get an answer right there and then. You're going to have to wait a couple days, sometimes even a week, to get an answer back, okay? So after we write the letter, we put the letter in an envelope. So this is what an envelope looked like, okay? And up here, you would have your name, your address, and your country. And then down here, whoever you're sending it to, their name, their address, and their country. And right here, this is what a stamp looked like. This is very important. If you don't have this on your letter, the post office will not accept it, and they will not send the letter to whoever you're sending it to. So back then, this used to cost like 10 cents. As of today, I believe they're around like 20 cents now. So that's money you pay for the letter to get delivered, okay? So after we put the stamps on the envelope, we put the letter inside a mailbox. Okay, normally it'll be outside in front of our house. We put it inside the mailbox, and there's like a little flag that we flip up. And when the postman come, he could see that the post is up, and there's mail in that box that needs to be taken to the post office. Okay? So when I'm sorry, when the mail gets to the post office, that's where it gets sorted out, or I'm sorry, the post office sorts out the mail. So what that means is when the mail is in the post office, they sort out all the mail, like they grab one country, or I'm sorry, one city or one town, and they would have that in one group and another group, and then the postman would take that and deliver it to the house. So for number 6 right here, the postman delivers the mail to the person you're writing to. So writing a mail is not an easy step like how it's easy to send mail today. Like you could just sit in your house on a chair and just type in what you want to write. Back then we had to do a lot of work. We had to walk outside to the post office. We had to go buy the stuff. We had to go to the post office to buy the stamps. Okay, so for this section here, I want you guys to write a letter to one of your classmates. 2 paragraphs. This is going to be your task 2, okay? Write 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph, I want you to write about yourself, telling your friend how you're doing. And then the second paragraph, I want you to ask your friend what they are doing and how they are been doing, okay? So that'll be your task number 2, and this is it for mail. So if you have any question, you can always text me. And okay, I'll see you in clip 3. Hello, welcome back, students. We're on clip 3. We're going to review on what we did today. Okay, so today we learned about communication. Okay, last week we learned about communication in the past. So this week we know that communication is sending or receiving information between 2 or more people. Okay, and ways to how we communicate are by listening. We listen, like when we use a radio or when people are talking to us, we listen. Number 2, speaking. When we speak or when other people speak, we're communicating. We're giving advice or sharing ideas when we speak. Also by looking. When we look, we don't have to speak or write or anything. We could just look at a picture and we know what it is. And number 4 is sign language. Okay, sign language is another way of communication, reading and writing. Okay, and the means of communication, there are so many types, but these are just a few that I wrote down for you. Okay, we got mobile phone, telephone, computer, newspaper, radio, television, and letter. Okay, so that it is it for communication. So moving on to your homework. What's the same and what's different? This is on page 58, on the last page of your workbook, okay? So you have 2 pictures on top. You got a mobile phone and a mobile phone, or a cell phone. And then on the bottom you have a mail, and then you have email. So what I want you to do is, for the same, you will write a column like this on the picture: same and different. F-E-R-E-N-T. Okay, so talk. Oh wait. Different text. Text message. Okay, so for the picture right here, I want you to draw a column like that, okay, and write same and different. And between these 2 pictures, between this mobile phone and this cell phone, what's the same and what is different? So the same will be we could talk on it, okay? And the difference is, with this phone we cannot send text message. So you will write text message on this side on the phone, okay? So that's for your homework. What's the same and what's different? Again, this is a mail, letters like you did in clip 2. Okay, what's the same as the internet, how you write letters or post on the internet, okay? So if you don't understand, you can always text me and I'll explain it to you more. All right, class, thank you for joining Social Studies today, and hope everybody had a good weekend, and I'll see you next week, and we will be reviewing in the book starting next week, okay? All right, everybody have a good day. Thank you.